Welcome to Blue Collar Chronicles, a podcast about real people living real lives.
We're two firefighters with backgrounds in construction and the outdoors.
And we're here to talk about work, family, mistakes, wins, and the lessons you don't learn in school.
Some stories are funny,
Some are serious.
and some we probably just shouldn't have lived through.
If you work for a living, this show's for you. All right, welcome back to Blue Collar Chronicles. How was your week, Ron?
Well, it was a little rainy, a little wet, a little soggy. Other than that, not too shabby. Another typical work week, 50, 60 hours. I'm ready for sunshine and blue skies.
I did a little to nothing this week.
Well,
That's part of my job, I guess.
everybody needs a little downtime.
But I need to mow really bad. I did need to mow. It was getting pretty bad. I could get the boys out there and get some weed eaters going.
There you go.
But we got a guest today. Today we have our teacher here.
We do.
And honestly, on the teacher thing, going through school, I never really liked my teachers. They're always kind of mean, but I was kind of an asshole too. So
I had a couple that I really enjoyed. Ones that knew you needed some help, and ones that, there was a couple I just like to be like, I don't like Alge too. I don't want to be here.
But when I got to high school, I got some really good teachers, and some that I still am connected with today set me on a better path. Still good friends with them. Mr. Whitney, he's one of my favorite ones. He is now, I believe, a superintendent of a school district. Once is super cool. Is well rewarded for him.
Yeah.
Mr. Plummer, he was a math teacher. He works at the university. I run into him every once in a while. He's still surprised I'm alive. I had a really good biology and science teacher, Mr. G. Still friends with him, and then some of the other ladies I haven't seen since I got out of high school. But it's kind of weird that I'm still friends with teachers. My wife is working at a school, which is weird. I mean, she's the educational type, and I'm just kind of the total opposite side of this.
Yeah, I mean, I like my D's,
But growing up, getting older, and in the lines of work I've taken into, I'm big on education, especially in the fire service. I mean, continuous education was over big things, man. We got to learn new stuff every time.
But there's a lot of difference, though. It's a lot of hands-on.
It is true. But there's a lot of schoolwork involved in it, so we have to go to school and actually learn a new side of our craft.
We've both been to the winter fire school.
And summer fire schools, and then all the trainings in between. It never goes away.
No.
Always learning.
Especially with the technology advancing and just in general, everything advancing.
Absolutely. Especially with the electric cars and stuff out there now. That's a whole new curve to what we've been used to.
Yeah.
Being in the medical side of this, we're always having to train and retest and do all this. And Madison, my daughter, EMT.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
She
passed her state board.
And she's going to be in school for the rest of her life.
She'll be, I mean, as long as she keeps that career, she'll be in it forever.
So my biggest thing on teachers is I think they're extremely underpaid. By all means, they should be making the same amount of money that these football and baseball players are making.
To an extent.
They
I think
shape our
true,
world
but
now.
I think there are some teachers that are not helping us shape the world that we need.
True. There's bad apples and everything on that one.
Absolutely. But I do think they need to be paid a little bit more than what they are.
Absolutely. They should all be making 100,000 plus.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Well, with that said,
so we got Barry here. Is a teacher. Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, I have been in education for 20 years.
Wow.
Teaching high school English language arts. So all
that's
the
exciting.
reading and the writing.
Favorite subject.
That's okay. That's okay. A lot of people say that. I always wanted to be a teacher. There wasn't ever a thought in my mind that I wouldn't be a teacher in education. It was in high school that I had some phenomenal ELA teachers, and I thought I want to be like them.
So a teacher inspired you to be teachers?
Yes, part of that. The other part is
That's cool.
I am a 5th generation educator on
Really?
my father's side. So,
Wow.
actually, when I was going to school, my dad was my superintendent all
Wow.
through my entire
Oh, that's
school
exciting.
career.
You
So,
had absolutely no fun in high school.
Yeah.
Got it.
so, yeah. So, but yeah, I graduated from high school, immediately went to undergraduate, got my degree in English, and then over the course of time, I have 3 additional degrees. I have my master's, my specialist, and my doctorate, all in educational leadership.
Really?
So,
Wow.
actually, just finished my doctorate last summer and graduated in December.
Well,
So,
congratulations.
Cool.
thank you. So, education is it's a big piece of my life for sure. Something
Now, with that being said, you have children as well, correct?
I do.
So how is it? Are you their teacher or are they?
I am currently not their teacher, but I am making a move into their district, and I will be with both of my boys next year.
Oh, we'll have to get into that.
Yeah.
So, with you being a teacher, what would you say is the best and the worst part?
Really, to me, let's go back to that whole. I am an ELA teacher, but just being a teacher in general is always what I put focus on, and building relationships. And to me, the best part is having those kids that you build such strong relationships with, and maybe get them to like ELA just a little bit is great, but just to see them become human beings, good human beings, that is my ultimate goal. In
Absolutely.
education.
Yes. Yes.
The worst part of my job is politics of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics, a lot of policies we have to follow, a lot of decisions being made by our congressmen and senators who don't have a clue what education really looks like. And that's probably very much the most heartbreaking piece of our jobs. We're not always able to do what we want to do because we have all these outside forces.
I will say I had an ELA teacher, and it was 9th grade, and I, to this day, I am still, I mean, she is probably one of the coolest ladies I know. I even gave her a nickname, and, most teachers would have been like, get out of my class. And she was like, I can dig it. And, I think that makes a big deal to, not only was she my ELA teacher, but she was somebody that I built, like you said, a relationship with, somebody I could go with, like, hey, Ms. V, I hate this dude. Like, I hate this class. I hate everything about it. What do I need to do? And she didn't care. She would welcome you with open arms, and she would, and I think that's a big part of, you're not only there. Yeah, you're getting paid because you're an ELA teacher. Great. That's awesome. But see, when you go above and beyond, I think that makes it all worth it, because you're also shaping them with different relationships and different, goals in general. Like, there's a lot of kids that don't know how to talk to people, and when they get that one relationship with a certain person, it actually really helps. So that's really good to hear. I'm glad it's not just about what you're paid to do. And
and like I said, watching them become good human beings, and especially with the world of social media, and keeping those connections and getting to see them become parents or attending their weddings. I've attended several of their weddings, and that's just that's something that's really special. And
I had my FFA teacher taught me the Robert's Rules of Order and all that stuff, and proceedings and all that stuff, and then later went into an elected official side of it, and then he came into it as an elected official. And I remember there was a debate at one of our meetings about Robert's Rules of Order, and he just kind of kept his head down. And as I was going through it, and it's like, I know there's one person on this board with me right now that knows, how it is. And said, he's the one that's taught me the Robert's Rules of Order. And he goes, you're doing a fine, good job. Keep going. And that made me proud. I'm like,
feeling.
my teacher,
there is one thing I remember.
I got to serve with my teacher on a board like that. And that was really nice. Yeah, I agree. I have a history teacher, Mr. Whitney. He was the same way with me. We created a bond. Even after school, if there was someone I needed to talk to, I called him. And he was kind of the guy that put things in perspective and actually kind of kept me grounded on a lot of stuff and led me in a lot of good directions. And So I got a high regard to teachers, even though I was quite a bit of pain in the butt to a lot of them. But yes, absolutely.
I
Go
get
on.
that.
So we're gonna jump around a little bit from the
Yeah.
question side.
Yeah.
We're not real good at staying on topic.
That's okay.
Welcome
Exactly.
to your new class. This is your new ELA
That's
class.
okay.
So let's shock some folks.
Okay.
What is something that folks would be surprised to know about your job?
Good question.
You know, because everybody sees, you know, they have the parent teacher conference, whatever, all that. I know a big part, like my mom used to be like, oh God, they need another day off. You know, like what is going on? So yeah, what's something that would shock them to know about your job?
I mean, I think it's mentioned, but really, if somebody understood how much work we put into our lesson plans, you know, our contract time is it's kind of a joke. It's not really, you know, that's just when we're there teaching the kids. That's not doing the prep. So that would be a big part that I think people would be shocked at. Another piece is how much we care versus the kids sometimes, and that's kind of also heartbreaking as well, that we put in so much more work than what sometimes they want to do. I don't know.
Well, let's go in the
Just
rabbit
the
hole.
constant work is my thing. But yeah, let's go down a rabbit hole.
Let's go to rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So, as a teacher in you set up your class and you have to create a lesson plan that you're going to teach, and you got to. I'm assuming a guideline you got to follow to a certain degree. So all the tests, the homework, you're taking all this home and grading it at home on your time. How many hours on the backside of this are you putting into being a teacher?
Yeah, what's a normal work week?
Because we all know the normal hours of school, but what's the
normal
extra side?
hour? I would say outside of the 8 hours that you're there with your students, and which elementary and high school are gonna be a little bit different too. I mean, high school we get one plan period, but that plan period is
Not long enough.
not long enough. It could be making copies, or it could be making phone calls, or sending emails, or grading, or whatever. It would not be out of the question for teachers to have, on average, and this can, again, on average, an additional 4 to 5 hours
A day.
of work a day, depending upon what they have. And that's hard. I mean, that I'm probably,
Because you're a mother and a
that's
wife.
the thing. You're a
and-
mother, and you know, there's been times that I've sat at baseball practices and sat there and graded, or sat there and responded to emails.
Yeah, but that takes away time from your
Family.
child also.
Absolutely.
So you're working 12, 15 hours a day on yours almost every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Wow.
a teacher really isn't classified as a blue collar job.
Yeah.
But I mean, you put in the time. Has it changed over was it easier in your early days teaching to now, or was it?
I don't think it was easier. It was easier before I was a mom.
Yeah.
How about that?
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
for sure. You know, and maybe easier nowadays with more of our technology, because when I first started teaching, everything was on paper.
Yeah.
You know, we printed off things and had to go from that. And the copies, constantly making copies. And today, you know, copies are still a thing, but maybe easier with them having their own Chromebooks, and we have a lot of digital readings and that type of stuff. And their tests, a lot of the tests are graded automatically now with our programs, unless it's short answer. Then we have to go in and do that. But that is a time saving. That is definitely a time saving technique. But yeah, there's definitely, and then you add into it as well. I mean, especially with high school teachers, they're also expected to maybe do some supervisions outside of school time too. You know, being at basketball games or baseball games or football games or running concession stands and all
The
these
dances
extra,
and all
the
that?
dances, the gates, you know, at the games where you have to pay. So there's, it's
So,
a
and I
constant.
enjoy
Yeah.
that as you know, a baseball coach
Yeah.
is you go there and you're playing with I'm on the boys side, so we
Yeah.
get to see all the boys play. You see the moms, and then you see a few random teachers out there, and it's like, that's cool. You know, I mean, the teachers actually come to support their teams and their students,
Yes.
obviously. But again, that takes away
Mm-hmm.
time as being a parent and a mom and all that stuff on the backside of that.
Absolutely. And I'm probably the worst on doing that extracurricular just because, especially like Friday nights, the boys will say, "Come to our football game, come to our football game." And I'm like, well, first off, by Friday, I just want to be at home.
Yeah.
I want to be with my boys. I want to be
Yeah.
with my family, and so it is a hard one. Or I go and I work concession stands for an additional 5 hours out on a Friday night, and
Yeah,
so
there's no
it's
date
just-
night there, huh?
There's no date night when you're flipping burgers.
Yeah.
Is there a strain on the marriage of any kind because of the workload that goes with that?
Not for mine, but it can be. It absolutely can be. I have the best husband in the world. I really do.
Good.
He covers a lot. Well, he cooks all the time, so he's our main cook, and
good.
he's got it all covered. And especially on late nights of parent teacher conference nights, or just, hey, I have these meetings after school. I won't be there to get the kids. I mean, you got to work on that. That's definitely a big one too.
Yeah, communication's probably pretty key in your
Communication
household.
is. I have the updated calendar constantly. Check the calendar. Check the calendar.
I hate that part of it with my wife is like, there's kindergarten enrollment, so I'm not going to be home till 7 or 8.
Yes.
So dinner's, you got figured out. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Whoa.
Yes.
That don't cook. Mom cooks.
Yeah.
So we're eating
Dad's
out.
ordering out. So, going down a rabbit hole, let's jump into another one.
Okay.
So there's a lot of talk about with school shootings and all the craziness that happens in the world on a daily basis. Now I know the folks that are listening, you're more of a rural teacher, which I'm sure has its benefits and probably has its downfalls. But again, there's a lot of debate, should teachers be armed? How do you feel about that as a teacher?
Or as a person, just you personally.
Yeah.
Well, my personal opinion is no. My personal opinion is I was trained to be a teacher. I already have to deal with everything else. I already have to be on my toes as far as, having things ready constantly, knowing what a fire drill looks like, knowing what a tornado drill looks like, knowing what the intruder drill looks like.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also, maybe look at it too of if this is gonna happen, who's providing the constant training? And as a parent, how comfortable do I feel knowing that there's a weapon in the classroom? I think there's just so many surrounding questions, and this was brought up. It's always brought up in classrooms too, especially when we have intruder trainings, which is heartbreaking that we even have to do this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But having these conversations, and they'll say, well, don't you think they should have it? I'm like, there's 2 people in my building that I think should be armed. One, our school resource officer. And second one is I have one of my girlfriends is retired military who's now a teacher. I'm like, they have had so much training. They know what, how to go through this. So that would be a big one too, is who's going through the training? How often is there training?
Now, I know-
who's paying for that.
Now I know, like in the city, and we ourselves have done it. We were armed security guards under a local law enforcement. Now I know in the city at a couple schools there are local armed security guards in the schools, and I know that we have our resource officers, but let's be honest. In these rural communities, if somebody, sometimes that resource officer can't always be there. Does that always linger in the back of your mind as a teacher? And, technically you're responsible for that class. That's gotta,
Yeah. That's the thing too, is we already have so much on our minds. So let's throw that on there.
Just add
Yeah.
more to it.
It adds to it. And it's,
All right.
we hope that we have significant enough, I guess, ideas or, what happens if, we always go through those walkthroughs, especially at the beginning of the school year, what happens. And even talking to my 10-year-old son who can tell me, here are the 3 things that happen if there's an intruder, which is, I can't believe you even have to have these conversations.
yep.
So let's go on the school resource side of that. So having a school resource officer there, do they participate kind of explain, do you know what they do, why they're just at school besides just roaming the halls and the doors and checking things? They participate in a little bit of everything, don't they?
They are. They are. They are. There when, especially some discipline issues. If some kids are maybe a little out of control, if they need to help with searches, they're definitely there. But going back to the rural school side of it, not every school is going to have a
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah.
Or they may have one for several districts that have to
Yeah.
go around
Bounce
there. So
around.
there's that idea too.
Now, with that being said, sorry, I don't mean
No,
I didn't mean
you
to
go.
cut you off.
Jump on.
I got one more. In today's society, the police aren't looked at, very favorably. And you said that in your last question, they're there to help with discipline. Now, do you think that's a good look for the law enforcement, or is there a way that you can help, as a teacher, bring, I mean, when I was a kid, we looked up to law enforcement. That's, and I have law enforcement in my family. I have, but that's one of the biggest things, and it's mind-boggling to me, how nowadays it's all thrown to this, they're nothing but this, that, those, blanking pigs, or, does that not help the police in that matter? Or, how does that affect how our children think of law enforcement?
I'll tell you, in my personal experience, especially with our SROs that have been in the districts I've been in, just like the teachers, they have built solid relationships
Good.
with those students.
Good.
You see pictures sometimes they're out at recess with the kids playing kickball. If a kid just needs a cool down, they'll sit down and talk to them, or they're also present at the sports events. They know these kids inside and out too. And so I think that's, that helps a lot with those ideas about law enforcement.
Yes,
for
ma'am.
sure.
We had an event, I think it was football or something, where they were wearing a certain color at an event we had. And obviously we all know what our deputies and cops look like. He was running around all decked out in his normal uniform, but he had all the little special and the foam finger. And I thought that was cool because, I could see that helping our kids a lot, the ones that are, let's say not all the parents are the best in the world. And you always got that negative effect on some of them. Don't talk to the cops because you'll get in trouble. But now he's out there making friends with them and, into that better spot of it, showing up to the games, showing up to the playgrounds and playing. And, ours plays basketball and everything else with the kids. And honestly, maybe that's someone we need to bring on. Get a resource officer in here and let's pound him down.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is now back to teaching? I know we jump around. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
So, what would be the biggest misunderstanding that people have about, teachers?
Oh,
And I know not all of them are. There's some teachers that go above and beyond, and then there's some you're like, oh man.
That's what I think. With looking at the biggest misunderstanding is that we have lives outside of our jobs. I have had to set my own boundaries actually over the last couple of years when it comes to my email. My kids know I'm not checking this email after this time of night because again, that's back to my family time. And that's that kind of irritates some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. That irritates some students. That irritates occasionally parents. And sometimes that even irritates other teachers. But, I love my job. I love my students. But I also love
my family.
my family.
Absolutely. Yes,
I
ma'am.
love all the outside things. When I'm on Christmas break, I'm on Christmas break.
Yeah, just like they are.
I'm on spring break. I'm on spring break. And so that's definitely a misunderstanding for sure. That we have some lives outside of those walls.
I was going to say, you see a teacher out in the grocery store shopping, and they're like, "Oh no, there's Mrs. S."
I got to take the left.
You're human too. You know, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, have you ever had a student you absolutely disliked, and how did you handle that? Because I know I made a list of a few of them teachers. Hey, how do you do it?
I think you have to remember that teachers are human, and you're not always going to get along with everybody. It should always be the educator's job, though, to make sure that you're still providing those kids with the same level of education that you're providing everybody else. And oftentimes when you are butting heads with someone, there's some outside forces that are causing those actions, and just working with them. And again, going back to those relationships, you're not always going to get along with everybody, but
Yes.
you can, hopefully grow some mutual respect with one another. And, going back to ELA, I don't expect you to love Shakespeare, but I expect you to be respectful in the classroom. That's
Absolutely.
that's, for sure.
Absolutely. So have you ever felt that it was necessary? Because I know there is a lot of, oh, this teacher went too far, or this teacher doesn't do enough. It's like walking a thin line. But have you ever felt it was necessary to raise your voice or use intimidation to manage a classroom? And I'm not saying
That is, go on.
I'm not saying you pull out a baseball bat and say, hey, if you don't shut up.
No. That is all about that classroom management. And I will tell you that 43-year-old me is way different than 23-year-old me. And trying to figure out, sometimes, especially younger ones, they think that the yelling is going to get their attention, and that's not going to build that trust. It's not going to build those relationships. So, there's everybody kind of has their different ways of management, but they have to see what actually works and what not doesn't work. And usually that's not something that works.
It always scared me when the teacher got quieter.
Yes.
Or like got in your face and was like, hey, listen.
And yes.
And I'm like, oh, God.
Yes. And I just got rid of my seniors. They just graduated this week, but they loved to rage bait me. They thought that was just the best thing.
Well, and I mean, it's all over social media. It's,
yes.
And I mean, that is a number one driving force to these kids.
Yes. Yeah. What can we do to see?
What's one of the most important lessons you've learned in your career?
Patience. Again, patience, because
we've heard that a lot.
We're hearing that on a lot of topics.
And going back to, I know that the kids that I see are not coming from the same households that I have, or the same household that I grew up in. Everybody's going to have different ideas, different opinions, and that's okay. You just have to have patience with one another, and it's definitely mellowed me out, made me look at different points of view for sure over the years, and hopefully became a better person along the way with them.
So earlier you said you try to follow a plan. What is, and I know these plans they can deviate, from day to day.
Yes.
What's a controversial, or that we would think is a controversial teaching tactic you use because it works, even if your peers or outside folks disagree?
Oh gosh, and I don't even think it should be controversial, but it is, and that's just holding kids to standards.
Accountability. That's a problem in society, not just schools.
Yes, absolutely.
That is
it seems like there's a lot more entitled people than there should be.
There is. It's and a lot of people want to go back to COVID times, and look where these kids were in COVID, and lack of expectations, and I get that, but I'm never going to stop having expectations. And
yeah, absolutely.
And I tell them all the time, like, I'm not going to let you just get by with doing nothing and giving you a grade. There are some districts, I'll share you with this. There are some districts that will give a 60% for doing nothing. They will start students off at 60%.
Ma'am, where was this one?
Right. Start them at 60%.
So, do you teach cursive?
I don't teach cursive. Not at my level. Not at the high school level.
Do they do that anymore?
I think it's very, very few and far between.
Really? See, I've heard that, and I'm kind of torn because I like the history side of everything, and a lot of it's in cursive.
Yeah.
And it just kind of mind boggled me when the kids was like, "Yeah, we really don't do that anymore." It's like that's just kind of weird.
And I think a lot of that comes from the political outsiders who are saying, "Oh, these are the things that must be taught." Okay, then if we have time, I guess we can try to fit something in.
But a lot of times they don't give you the time to teach the things like that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, what's your normal class time average?
An hour is 48 minutes.
Wow.
So
And
I
that's
have-
getting in there, setting down, then get it
And
started.
you have 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I teach 8 hour or 7 hours a day. So, so yeah, in
Wow.
different classes.
Seems like it's much.
So yeah, everything is very much condensed and
But now that everything is going electronic and digital, do you guys have tablets and computers in the center? And I understand that a lot of the world today is now run, and everybody's got a computer or a phone that can you got access to.
and
it
that's
all.
something else that's been brought up about handwriting itself,
Yes.
because handwriting is just horrible,
Horrible.
awful. And we were actually looking at some handwriting from a baseball game when the kids had signed the cards for those seniors, and we're like, they don't know how to sign, let alone write.
Right, yeah.
I mean, my own kid is like, my gosh, but yeah, it's really, it's
Now-
just not something they do anymore. I think it's
Wow.
coming. I think they're bringing it back. They're trying to limit, tablet and computer access, especially at the elementary levels.
Yeah.
But it's all a lost art. It's wild.
For my age, being in school and to now, I've kind of noticed that a lot of our classes. I still notebook and paper with me everywhere I go, and that's just my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I got a big phone that's got notes where you can type it in, but it just seems like it wastes time for me where I can just got my little notebook. And even at work, I carry that. If you go to my office, I got sticky notes everywhere.
Yeah.
That's my reminders. That's how
Well,
I
yeah,
do
let's
things.
be honest. You're not going to remember how to get to a reminder in your phone.
But and exactly, if I did, my phone would be dinging all the time. My face would be buried in the phone,
Yes.
and even today, everybody's got their nose buried in that phone, and it just kitchen tables or we go
They're
out to the
gone.
restaurant.
They're gone.
5 minutes and everybody's on their phone. It's like, good Lord, what happened to the talk to person
And
thing?
I remember when I was a kid, and I grew up with my grandparents,
yeah.
big in my life, and we sat down at the kids' table and we ate a meal. You didn't play on your phone. You didn't, hell, we didn't even have a phone.
And I think that's what also is playing a lot of in our society today. There's not enough of this,
So-
family settings anymore. It's just like everything's so fast. We need to
Well-
learn how to slow down.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to accountability.
Exactly.
Because, yes, the students don't take accountability, but where are their parents to take that
Mm-hmm.
accountability? Because listen, a child is not going to, a child can do bad on his own.
Yes.
Yes. But if the parent isn't
Mm-hmm.
willing to take that accountability as well, then what's the point?
And
Yeah, it's a different time for sure. I mean, and don't take that the wrong way. We have some of the most supportive parents as well.
yeah. Yeah.
But it's just it goes back to so many things. How
Yeah.
were you raised, and what your current lifestyle is, and and all that. It adds. To
Well,
all
and
of
times are
that.
tough
And
too.
times are
I mean,
tough.
parents are working more.
Absolutely.
And I understand that. And, they're just, it's a shame
Yeah.
that we're not.
but I am currently, we've jumped school districts and we're in a different school district than where I was at and my wife. And this school district has been so much more supportive. The parents are just fabulous. And I know as baseball coach, I lose my mind a few times here and there. And we get a little rough inside that dugout. But they take it. Where I know, if we were in the other district, that would be a big no-no. It's like, own up to your mistakes and let's fix them. And you can't get that at some places anymore. I'm in a fabulous school district. I think we got some great teachers there. We've got great parents there. It makes the whole high school experience better for my kids. And I love that side of it. Where if you get into these bigger schools, like go up to the city and they're graduating classes, in the hundreds and hundreds of kids. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's quadruple.
you kind of lose focus of all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
getting back to outside lives and, everybody, you have an outside life, you have a family outside of work. Do you think teachers in general should be held to a higher moral standard in their personal lives?
Oh, that's such a hard one because
The more
yes and no. I mean, I think, obviously, well, okay, let me go back. Teaching is a calling. I mean, it absolutely is a
Yes.
calling. It's, you have it or you don't. And you choose to be a teacher because you want to do something great. You want to help kids you want to help, whatever. So yeah, maybe we should be held to a higher accountability because we are guiding them. But on the other hand, we're human. We are human. And I think that is sometimes forgotten.
Yeah, no,
Sometimes forgotten.
absolutely. And again, we're all going to make mistakes.
Yes.
And I just, it's always on the news. Well, this teacher, did this. And, well, there's going to be bad apples in every group.
Yes.
That can be
Yeah.
drivers. That can
Yeah.
be anything you want. It just, it always amazes me how they think, oh, well, they're teachers and that's it. Well, no, that teacher, times are hard. How many teachers have other jobs
Yes.
outside of teaching?
Yeah.
A lot.
So they're not always Mrs. Veronica. They might be, shopkeeper Veronica,
Yeah.
or
Yep.
you know what I mean.
So going into that part of it, what's the average salary of a teacher starting off compared to serving 10, 15 years?
So I would just tell you the average starting salary currently for the state is $40,000, and that was just recently bumped up over the last couple of years, and that's with an additional state funding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there benefits?
I would say the majority of school districts do pay your insurance. So that is a big benefit. But I'm not sure, I can't speak for other districts, but I know, my district currently does pay our health insurance, and then, has some discounts for those other, like dental insurance and life
Gotcha.
insurance, that type of stuff. But that salary is, yeah, it's
So on $40,000, it'd be hard
That's
to have a household.
Mm-hmm.
that's
This is why a lot of teachers do have those extra jobs, especially, when they're first starting out. They're
Yeah.
still working, I've had a coworker several years ago who, worked his 8-hour shift at school and then went to the local Walmart.
see that's where I
And
have
he's still got to grade papers and all that stuff too.
and that's where I have a problem with this whole issue is you can't just decide, hey, I'm going to be a teacher and go teach. You literally have to spend quite a bit of money, go to college, get that certificate, and to be a teacher. Once now you're in crazy dad.
Yes.
Be a teacher, make $40,000 and pay your college bill. Plus, you got to live.
Yes.
Yeah, how long do you need to go to college to be a teacher?
Well, you have the 4 years, but
Oh.
then
So-
you also, a lot of, I'm sure majority of school districts, in order to move over on your pay scale, is furthering your education. So getting that master's or, getting that specialist. So if you ever want to move over, because there's steps and there's
Yeah.
movements. So if you want to move over, there's more debt than,
Oh.
Yeah,
for
so you got
whatever
to have a
that
bachelor's
costs.
degree, then you got to jump to a master's degree,
for sure, and that's what majority get to the masters, and
and you're
they're
looking at
done.
what $90,000 to $100,000 worth of debt.
It's yeah,
Pretty easily.
depending upon where you go. Yeah, for sure.
Good Lord, and you're only making 40 starting out.
Yes, yeah.
That's the problem that I have with it. How do you guys do it? And that's what I was getting at. You can
Yeah.
go drive a trash truck and make $100,000. There's no college involved.
Yeah.
And why can't we bring that medium up?
And I think that's definitely one of the reasons that we're looking at the decline of
Yeah.
people going to college to be teachers and people not staying in education. That's definitely one of the biggest factors is the pay.
and you're shaping the world. You're the ones that are teaching the kids to be better kids, to be adults, be held accountable,
Right.
learn a craft.
Right.
And I just make
Yeah.
so, you see, you were also holding you to a higher standard.
How?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not paid enough to pay attention.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and then you're gonna go to work, and then you're gonna work another 4
Another se-
hours.
Yeah.
By the time you get home, let's just say it's 11. What about the papers you got to grade?
Yeah.
Like, you got that test don't fall on the next day because
Exactly.
you in trouble.
That's just
That's mind blowing. Let's get out of this dark, depressing stuff.
Yes.
Let's go to some funny stuff.
Okay.
absolutely. I'll start it off. What is
yeah.
the most unusual or funniest question a student has ever asked you?
Oh. Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one.
What's one that really sticks
No,
to you?
I don't know that I have any questions really. I just experiences. I mean, I keep a quote book. I've kept a quote book over several years.
That's
of things.
awesome.
And, and so many of it is things that have happened in the room that you have to have that context background. But I did have one that is recently graduated who wrote raps, and he wrote raps about me and about the classroom.
Cool.
So that,
Were they good raps?
Oh, I mean, no, they were awful. I mean, they were funny. They were
Okay,
funny.
perfect.
Okay.
Not going to make him millions by any means, but
He tried. He gave it hell.
He tried, and that is also what has always kept me in teaching. I've always said if I can find something at the end of the day that made me laugh, something that made me smile, I'm holding on to that. And
So I forgot one question. How is AI helping you or hurting you as a
Ooh.
teacher?
AI is my jam.
Really?
AI is my jam. That was what my doctoral dissertation is. So I have two sides on AI.
Okay.
First, as a teacher, I think it's phenomenal because, going back to how much time we put into things, it can help create those lesson plans. It can go through our curriculum. It can make sure we're hitting all those standards that need to be taught, especially looking at rural schools where you're not only teaching them, but you're probably going to be coaching after school, and you don't have all that time. It's phenomenal. Student side of it, not my favorite thing.
That's it.
And that's a lot of that is they don't know how to use it for good. It's one of those things.
That's like Wiki.
Whatever. Yeah, it's like Wiki. Whatever superhero. I don't even know what it is. You use your power. You can use it for bad or good. Let's learn to use it for good.
Yeah, Wikipedia got me into some.
Yes,
Well, Alexa
right?
did the same thing for me. When we
Yes.
first went into Alexa, we were learning how to use it. Then the next thing I know, I hear the kids at night asking Alexa all the questions. And like, wait a minute.
Yes.
That's
yes.
cheating.
No, it's
Well,
not.
let's not
That
use it
that
for
is not cheating. That is
Using
that
the
is
resources.
using what you have at your availability.
I will give him them points, but then again, my dad's side's like, no, that's cheating. I didn't have that. You're not getting it.
Yes. So now I'm going to go back then. You mentioned, I think at the very beginning, about hands-on learning.
Yes.
And that's really what AI is going to cause education to do is go back to hands-on learning,
Good.
which I am not against that by any
Absolutely.
means because, it can't do the work for you. It can answer the questions for you, but it can't do the work for you.
Yes.
And so that's then an added piece to the teaching side of it is we have to learn to create assignments now and create projects that AI can't do for them. And that's just going to be then more time, add to that time too. But I think
So it's hurting and
it's
useful.
hurting and it's helpful. And we just have to
That's like
figure out the medium.
that's like the difference between, to me, in my eyes, the difference between geometry and algebra.
Yeah.
Geometry, I was phenomenal. I could put a circle with a square or a rectangle and a triangle, but you start hitting me with a 2x with a 7y and
Yeah.
up
don't
to
need
the
to know
second
that.
power. I'm like, what the shit is that?
Yeah. All right. So, great question. What would you do if you won the lottery and decided to stop teaching?
Ooh.
So, let's say you won $60 million. What would you do today?
I would probably stop teaching. I would probably just take a year to figure out life. I know my husband would love that. Actually, I think his idea is that he could be a stay-at-home dad, and I can continue to touch the lives. I think he's talked about that. Well, who else is going to teach if you're not there?
Yeah.
I could stay at home. So
Listen, I couldn't. And I hear, stay home dad is just starting to be a thing now. There's no way in hell I'm staying at home dad. There's no way. Because I see what my wife has done with these kids. Yeah. And you got to remember way too much. You got to remember birth dates and parties and who lives where and who talks to who. I can't do that.
I don't have no kids.
No. And I think he would love that because he wouldn't remember any of that. He just wants to be the stay-at-home dad to mow the yard and.
I mean, I
He's
can do
the
that.
dad that's putting on the khaki shorts and the New
Let's
Balances.
go play some baseball.
Absolutely.
But no, nothing would get done on the calendar.
So, well, all right. So, I can see taking a year off. I mean, I know what
I mean, I
I'm doing if
would,
I won
yeah.
$60 million.
With that kind of money, you can do whatever you want.
I'm
Figure it
getting a
out.
bow. I'm doing like a bunch of illegal stuff. We won't go there. But so if you had a hidden talent, what would your students be shocked to find out about you?
Like you're a secret singer or something like that.
I don't have any hidden talents. I don't think that they would.
Are you a master chef?
I am not. I'm not a master chef. I think at some okay, we have bees. So they were a little bit surprised to see
You're a
me
beekeeper?
like in a bee suit. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, that's neat.
So that kind of threw them. I
Getting some
actually
fresh
brought
honey?
some. I brought some honey in, and they're like, "These are from you." I'm like, "Yeah,
Oh,
yeah."
that's cool.
So that was.
Wow.
But yeah, that's
Well, that's exciting.
yeah.
I
I'm
wouldn't
much more of an open book now that I'm older, and I'm like, I have nothing to hide.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Versus when I
It's
was
way
younger, yeah,
easier.
they might have been
Absolutely.
shocked. So
All right, so outside of work, we're not a teacher.
Yes.
What do you do for fun? Like, what's your
When you
day
get-
of fun?
I said to when you have the time.
when we have the time, so well, we live on a small farm, so we raise sheep primarily, and my kids are involved in 4-H and FFA, so that takes a lot of our time. We have the bees. I embroider. I like a good date
Really?
line and marathon. I like, my kids call them my murder shows. I love to, those the criminal dramas. I just love those because plotting it all
Absolutely.
out in my mind and how how'd they get away with that? But I don't know. We like to just go out. And, my husband's family has a lake house, so we occasionally go down there, and so that's
Just a nice little getaway.
getaway.
Well, it kind of fits into what's your
Yeah.
biggest hobby or passionate outside
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah, it's
Kind of sounds like it's
whatever
all
the
in
mom
same.
life is going on usually. Yeah.
All right. So what's your favorite meal outside of the cafeteria and the cafeteria? And let's add a third part to that. And which one would you avoid at the cafeteria?
Get ready to be shocked. I only ate school food during COVID
Really?
because it was free.
I can
And it
see that.
saved me from having to pack a lunch.
Yes.
Really?
Really, really. Outside of that, I've always brought my lunch. So I've doing
Wow.
Okay.
that. But kids love that Chicken Patty Wednesday and Pizza Friday. Like those are their two jams. But I don't like chicken, so I'm not. That's not gonna be my thing. But
A lot of
Yeah.
yard bird. A lot of
Yeah.
yard bird.
yeah.
So outside of work, your husband goes, "Hey, let's go to dinner." What would be your number one spot?
Any Italian place.
Italian. Oh, nice.
I like Italian. It's my go-to spot. So
All right.
Cool.
Well, let's do some funny one.
Gotcha.
If you are you willing to share your favorite, most embarrassing teaching moment?
I've been thinking about that. I don't know. I mean, I know I've mispronounced words before, or I've dropped a cuss word. Those are always
Ooh,
embarrassing.
Oh, that's always
Because
fun.
That adds to that
That's
human. I'm
always
like,
a good
all right,
time.
guys. I'm
Because we
human.
always, as students, remember that.
Yes, or when I mispronounce.
dropped the
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, or when I mispronounce a word and it ends up being a cuss word, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, that's not at all. Or let's go back to that whole rage baiting, and they get me to say slang that I don't even know what it means, and then they just laugh, and they love that type of stuff. And I'm like,
These kids.
I have no idea what the slang means, but then I look it up. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Have they ever
Gonna get
brought
me
you
on these.
a word? Let me rephrase this. Because I know I had one. I would go to the dictionary and look for a cuss word that wasn't a cuss word, but the definition was bad. And then,
Oh,
hey, you ever heard of this? And then just to see the expression, like, no. And then when they go and look it up, they see me, walking home. I'm like, we need to talk.
yeah. they do that a lot with just like I said, the current slang. They just think it's so funny to say things and
I
we
never
try
did
to
anything.
Oh, I always try to trip up a teacher. I mean,
Yeah, I
that was
always
a goal.
did too.
Yes.
Listen, my goal was that how could I get out of school fast enough?
Yeah. What's the funniest wrong answer you ever gotten on a test?
Oh, that's a hard one too. I don't know. I would have to go to my quote book and see what I've written down. I'm
no.
sure I've written things
But it's
down.
pretty cool that you keep a quote book. So one day you're back and you're retired and you're going through, I remember
Oh,
that.
I know.
That would
Yeah,
be
like
so
have you ever
cool.
been to one of your students' weddings and been like, hey, do you remember the time you said this?
Okay, so I had a student. They just got married this past fall or 2 years ago, and when I had the student in school, I was trying to teach him how to write an email, and he had sent me an email with the entire email in the subject line. Like it just went on and on.
Oh.
And I just, oh my gosh, we just laughed and laughed about it. So then when he had invited me to the wedding, he put a little note. And by the way, I learned how to finally send an email. And I'm like, oh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud that you remembered that. And like,
That's awesome.
my job is done, you know?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, concluding this interview, I've heard there's some big news in your life. What's next for the teacher?
So after 20 years in the classroom, the teacher is moving to a leadership position. So
Oh boy.
that it'll be a big change. It'll be moving even districts as well. So I'll be in the district with my own children, and
Oh, those poor
that'll
kids.
also be that'll also be something different. But I'm I just kind of feel like I'm at the point where I'm ready to inspire teachers directly. I want to be there to support them, especially with several of the things that we've talked about.
Yeah.
They need support, and I want to be that person
So-
that can support them.
In that role, you're going to be their voice pretty much, going even higher up.
Yes.
So that means you have to go against the board or the board of governors, however you want to phrase it, the board
The
itself.
school board. I mean, yeah,
School
working
board,
more
yeah.
with the school boards.
You
and
get to go tangle with them now.
occasionally, possibly.
And that could be
So
fun. That's back into
that
the
could be
politics side.
fun. That could be fun.
Yeah, so with that said, I know you're not a big fan of the politics side, but I guess you're ready to handle that a lot more than what a normal teacher would.
Yeah, I think I am. I think I'm ready for that. I know I am. How about that? I know I am. I never really thought that I wanted to leave the classroom, to be honest. And I just had some things happen this past school year that I'm like, you know what, Lord, if there's a door, don't let me be afraid to open it. And there was that door. I was like,
Absolutely.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I guess so. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to still, be there for the kids, but like I said, helping the teachers.
Now you're the
and being
teachers
for
and the
them.
kids. So, you come across an issue, you get to go fight for everybody now.
I hope so.
Cool.
That's my
Just-
plan.
No, I'm just-
Yeah.
No.
So how does your
Yeah.
kids feel about you taking a new role?
They have told me they're happy about it, but I guess we'll see.
We'll find out
We'll
the real
find
truth.
out.
Yeah.
We'll find out. I think they'll be okay.
So I see a follow-up story
So-
later on going through
That's
this.
right.
Absolutely.
I think they'll be good with it.
So is there any final words you have or
Just in general, for anybody that listens,
Mhm.
we always get, be nice to the trash man or be nice to your IT guy.
Yeah.
What would you say to the public, about the teachers that you would like to see the public do more?
Just know that teachers are working really hard. Educators are working really hard. They're
there's a
working-
lot more behind the
There's
scenes?
so much more behind the scenes, and really, again, occasionally you have those bad apples, but overall, teachers will always want the best for your kids, no matter again
I mean-
what you see on the front lines
Yeah.
versus
I mean, if you
what's
think
going
about
on
it,
and-
they spend more time with their kids than they do.
yeah. I mean, like I said, we just had graduation this past week, and there were tears. I mean, I genuinely love those kids, and I genuinely want to see them go do amazing things in this life, and that's, I think, what the majority of teachers and educators are gonna really want. They just really want that.
And honestly, I don't. We're scratching the surface of what really goes on out there, and most of the interviews that we've been doing, we're just scratching the surface and opening eyes. And I know I've got a lot of answers back from the people we're interviewing that really surprised me that I didn't know. We as in the host here, need to figure out how to jump into a second series to each one we interview to go to the next level of this, because I think there's so much more you could give us that to better understand that job of it. You know, like your typical start the morning off to the time you get to close the book and say, I'm done. Now it's time to rest and relax. You know,
Well, but it sounds like there's no rest and relax.
well, it's true, but I
now we're
mean,
gonna close the book and be mom.
yeah, you're
Yes.
14 hours into being a
Yes.
teacher, and it's like, all right, now my day's done. You know, this is a typical day that I have to deal with, and
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here too, especially we hear, oh, well, you get the summers off. Summer is a time to like recoup
okay,
because I mean, education, being a teacher, not only the physical demands, but the constant emotional demands and the mental demands, and it does drain you. And we've got to have that time to recoup and rest. And yeah, we need it. And we need it. I think right now, if you talk to any teacher at this point in the school year, that's just what they
my
need.
God, we need summer. Hurry
It
up.
just- yeah, yeah,
I know graduations like that, Mark. Like we're almost there,
yeah.
and I guess we didn't ask that question about it. So you get summer off with the students. So what do you do in that break period besides just relax and be mom or be a wife and
Always thinking about the next school year.
next school? So you're
It's always
preparing
there.
for the next group to coming in, and so you're still doing teacher work.
There's still like, especially if I see something on Instagram or usually Instagram is kind of my go-to, and then get on the text group like, oh my gosh, I just saw this teaching idea. Like, hey, how can we make this work? I mean, it's
So
even
you
though
guys
there's
work
rest-
together.
Oh yes, yeah. But you're always on, always on.
And how does the pay work? Is it just, this is what you make for the year? So you make your 40,000, and they just break it up to give it to you while you're off that spring break.
I think every district is
It's
different. The first district I was in did, you get your monthly pay and then like a lump sum in the summer, whereas my current district does a payment every month
So
for
you
all 12 months.
better plan your money
Yep,
real well.
And there's several districts I think. That
I mean,
still
you
do
get
that. Mm-hmm.
nothing, and then they tax the crap out of that, so you're coming back with nothing, and
Yeah.
then you got to learn how to budget
You
even
have to
better.
really budget for those 3 months for
Lord.
sure. And then, well, because then you don't get paid again until September.
Oh man,
So that's it's true. Figuring it out. Yeah.
I'm good with money. Or at least I think I am. There's no way, not that long.
I'll financially
Yeah.
irresponsible.
I mean, I like the weekly paychecks, and now I'm on twice a month,
Oh.
bi-weekly.
Yeah, and we're
And-
once a month.
And that's a
Once
You're
month.
once
just-
a month.
and I know I said my wife is that way, and I'm
No.
like,
So you
I
really have to budget.
I don't
You
know
really have to
how.
know
I
to budget.
mean,
No,
yeah.
I would go broke.
Oh, definitely.
I'd be broke the first week. I'd be
I'd
like, paid and broke.
I'd have a weekend job, then a second job after my
Absolutely.
schooling job. and-
Yeah, so summertime, do teachers, I mean, they must work.
Some of them do. Yeah, full time,
Mm.
as well as start planning for the next year.
Oh,
Wow,
So
my
it's-
God.
It's a lot. It is. Yeah, and plus conferences and trainings that sometimes they have to
That
take
sounds
in too.
horrible.
Yeah.
So it's
So my shout out
Mm-hmm.
is love your teachers.
Yeah.
Support them, help them,
And kids, be good.
give them a break. I mean,
Damn it.
You see them outside the classroom, wave, smile, and walk away.
Yeah, don't talk to them. They don't even like you that much.
we love you. We love you.
But I think parents should give you leeway. I mean, I understand that there's. I mean, my teachers whipped me. Mom and dad had to sign a permission form, but I got paddled. It's dad or detention,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
would take a SWAT over a detention any day of the week
Yeah,
because
nobody
then
wants to stay after school.
Yeah.
my parents had to make a reason. They had to come in after school. I couldn't ride the bus, so I'm getting a double when I get home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd take a hit every time, and I know my principal loved it. He had it's called a soul breaker.
I bet.
Oh my
But
gosh.
and I know we can't do that anymore. But I mean, be nice to the teacher, help the teachers out, and as parents and a community, support them.
And I would also
And-
remember that they have lives outside of teaching.
Exactly. But every elected official out there that hears what these guys make, they need to fix this.
Especially what they go through.
And exactly. I mean, they're shaping the next great mind to take over this world. So they need more money. So
Absolutely.
if we can do anything, let's make a phone call to your congressman. Tell him, hey, we need more money for our teachers Plain and simple.
Yep. And on that note,
I ain't got much more. I would love to bring you back later on down the line, and I want to jump in this
dive
rabbit
deeper.
hole some more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
And I want to
for
learn
having
more
me.
about this. It's honestly, I gotta love the teachers, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You open my eyes a little bit more to what I would have thought, especially with my wife wanting to jump into this. I'm like, yeah, this is what you want to do, trying to be the supportive husband.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm thinking, oh God, no. Because that means that,
What'd we sign up for?
yeah. Now I got to step up my game a little more.
Yes.
And my table's already full. So
Yeah.
I don't have much more right now.
No, I think we're good.
Well, I appreciate everybody listening, and then
We appreciate you coming in.
yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
ma'am.
Yes, thank
And
you.
happy Mother's Day, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to all the
Mothers out there, exactly.
All right.
You put
They're
up
the
with
real MVPs,
putting up a lot of dumb husbands.
especially the single moms.
Yes.
True.
Absolutely.
That's all we have for today, and thank you folks for listening. Thanks.